Myra pressed her small face against the cold window of the orphanage. Outside, ships came and went. Big ones, small ones, ships of every color. They brought visitors, families, people looking for children to take home. But never for her. She was 8 years old, or at least that was what the staff told her. They did not count age the same way other species did. Her people measured life by seasons on their home world. But here, on Orbital Station 12, everyone used human years. It was easier that way. Myra pulled her thin blanket around her shoulders. Her ears, soft and pointed like awl, lay flat against her head. This was a sign of sadness among her kind. Any would have known this. But there were no other here. There had not been any for a very long time. The other children in the orphanage came from many different worlds. There was a young boy with blue scales who liked to play with building blocks. There were twin sisters from the nebula colonies who could speak to each other without words. There was even a small creature made mostly of light who floated near the ceiling and hummed soft songs. All of them had something in common. They were healthy, strong, full of life. Myra was none of these things. She looked down at her arms. They were thin, too thin. The fur that covered her body, once a beautiful silver color, had become dull and patchy. Some spots had no fur at all. The medicine helped a little, but not enough. The doctors said her body was fighting itself. They used big words she did not understand. What she did understand was simple. She was sick and she would not get better. The door to the common room opened. Myra's ears lifted slightly. A habit. Hope was a hard thing to kill, even when it brought nothing but pain. Supervisor walked in. He was a tall creature with gray skin and 4 arms. 2 of those arms held a data pad. The other 2 were folded behind his back. He did this when he had news, usually bad news. Behind him came a couple. They were a species known for their wealth and their love of children. The female had smooth purple skin and kind eyes. The male stood tall and proud, his hands resting on his belt. Myra watched them look around the room. The female smiled at the boy. She knelt down and spoke to him softly. The boy laughed. It was a good sign. Then her eyes moved to Myra. For one beautiful moment, Myra felt something warm in her chest. The female was looking at her, really looking. She stood up and walked closer, her steps graceful and slow. "This one," the female said, "she is, yes. I have heard they make wonderful companions, loyal and loving." Supervisor's 4 arms tightened. "Yes, she is. Her name is Myra. However, I must inform you of her situation." He held out the data pad. The female took it. She read. Her kind eyes changed. The warmth faded. Something else took its place. Pity, fear, disappointment. "I see," she said quietly. She handed the data pad back. Perhaps we should look at the other children." The male had already turned away. He was watching the twins now, nodding with approval. Myra did not cry. She had stopped crying a long time ago. Tears did nothing. They did not heal her body. They did not bring families to her door. They only made her eyes hurt and her fur wet. She turned back to the window. Another ship was leaving, a big one with golden wings. It carried a family somewhere, maybe to a planet with blue oceans, maybe to a moon covered in flowers, maybe to a place where sick little girls were loved anyway. Myra would never know. The days passed slowly in the orphanage. Wake up, take medicine, eat breakfast, watch the other children play, eat lunch, more medicine, watch the visitors come, watch them leave, eat dinner, sleep, repeat. Sometimes Myra tried to play with the others, but her body was weak. She could not run fast. She could not climb high. She got tired easily. The other children did not mean to leave her out. They simply forgot she was there. When you cannot keep up, people stop waiting. The staff were kind enough. They made sure she took her medicine. They gave her extra blankets when she was cold. They let her sit by the window as long as she wanted. But kindness was not love. Myra knew the difference. One night a new child arrived. A human boy, maybe 10 years old. He had brown hair and angry eyes. He did not speak to anyone. He sat in the corner and stared at the floor. Myra watched him for a while. Then slowly she walked over. Her legs ached, but she ignored the pain. She sat down next to him, leaving some space between them. "Hello," she said. Her voice was soft. She did not use it much. The boy did not look up. "Go away." "I can go away," Myra said, "but I wanted to say hello first." Silence. Then finally the boy raised his head. His eyes were red. He had been crying, but he did not want anyone to know. "Why?" he asked. "Because new places are scary," Myra said, "and it helps when someone says hello." The boy stared at her. He looked at her patchy fur, her thin arms, her flat ears. Myra waited for the disgust, the rejection, the turning away. Instead, the boy said, I'm Myra. You look sick." "I am sick." "Are you going to die?" Myra thought about lying. It would be easier. But she did not like lies. They were heavy things to carry. "Yes," she said, "probably." Nodded slowly. "My mom died, that's why I'm here." "I'm sorry." "Me too." They sat together in silence. It was not a happy silence, but it was not lonely either. That was something. Over the next few weeks, and Myra became friends. He was still angry most of the time. He fought with the staff. He broke things. He yelled and shouted and slammed doors. But he never yelled at Myra. When she was too tired to walk, he would bring her food. When she could not sleep, he would sit with her and talk about his mother. "She used to make these things called pancakes," he said one night. "They were round and flat and sweet. She put fruit on top, strawberries. Do you know what strawberries are?" Myra shook her head. "They're red and soft, and they taste like—" He paused, searching for words. "They taste like happy mornings." "I would like to taste happy mornings," Myra said. "Maybe someday," said, but they both knew it was an empty hope. Then came the day that changed everything. A family arrived they were human. A man and a woman with warm smiles and open arms. They had read his file. They knew about his anger, his pain, his loss, and they wanted him anyway. Stood in the middle of the room, frozen. He looked at the family. Then he looked at Myra. "Come with me," he said suddenly. "They can take both of us." Myra's heart jumped. She looked at the human couple. The woman smiled at her, but there was uncertainty in her eyes. The man whispered something to supervisor, handed over the data pad. They read Myra's file. The smiles did not fade completely, but something shifted. The woman's hand moved to her husband's arm, a small gesture, a signal. The woman began. "We only have approval for one child. The process for special medical cases is complicated." "Please," said, his voice cracked. "She's my friend." The man knelt down. He put his hand on shoulder. "I'm sorry, son, we want to help, we really do, but taking on a child with her condition, it requires resources we don't have, medical equipment, specialists. It wouldn't be fair to her." Fair? Myra had heard that word before. Adults used it when they meant no. "Pulled away, then I won't go." The woman started. "No," tears rolled down his face. "I won't leave her alone." Myra stood up. Her legs shook, but she forced them to hold her weight. She walked to and took his hand. "You should go," she said. "Myra." "You should go," she repeated. "They want you, they will love you. You will have pancakes and strawberries and happy mornings." She squeezed his hand. "That is what I want for you." Was crying openly now. He did not care who saw. It's not fair. "No," Myra agreed. "It's not, but you are my friend, and friends want good things for each other. This is a good thing, please take it." He hugged her. It hurt, everything hurt, but she hugged him back. She breathed in the smell of him. Human children smelled different, warmer somehow. She would remember this warmth. "I'll come back for you," whispered. "When I'm big, I'll come back and I'll take you home." Myra smiled. It was a real smile, not the empty one she showed the staff. "I will wait for you." But she knew. Children grew up, they forgot. They moved on, would have a new life, a new family, new friends. The sad little cat girl in the orphanage would become a distant memory, then not even that. That was okay. Myra was used to being forgotten. She watched them leave, looked back 7 times, she counted. Then the door closed and he was gone. Myra returned to her window. Outside, another ship was departing. Maybe it carried to his new home. Maybe it carried other families, other children, other hopes. She pressed her forehead against the glass. It was cold. She was always cold now. "I don't want to die alone," she whispered to no one. "I just want someone to want me, just once." The stars had no answer. They never did. But somewhere in a cargo ship 3 sectors away, a man named Wu was checking his navigation charts. His next stop was Orbital Station 12. He needed fuel and supplies. He did not know it yet, but his life was about to change. And so was Myra's. Wu had been flying cargo ships for 12 years. He knew the stars like most people knew the streets of there. He could navigate through asteroid fields with his eyes half closed. He could fix engine problems with spare parts and determination. He could survive alone in the black emptiness of space for months without losing his mind. But he could not cook rice properly, not anymore, not since died. His wife had been gone for 3 years now. An illness, quick and cruel. One day she was laughing at his bad jokes and kissing his forehead. The next day she was in a hospital bed. 2 weeks later she was nowhere at all. Wu kept flying. It was all he knew how to do. The ship was his home now. The stars were his companions. The silence was his friend. His sister worried about him. She called every week, her face appearing on his communication screen, her daughter Bora bouncing in the background. "Come home," would say. "Stay with us for a while. Bora misses her uncle." Soon, Wu would answer. "After this job, maybe the next one." But soon never came. Home meant memories. Memories meant pain. Pain was easier to ignore when you were moving. Orbital Station 12 appeared on his screen. A medium-sized station, nothing special. It served as a rest stop for ships traveling between the outer colonies and the central worlds. Fuel, food, repairs. Everything a tired pilot needed. Wu guided his ship into the docking bay. The landing was smooth. He had done this 1,000 times. His hands knew the controls better than they knew anything else. He stepped out into the station. The air smelled recycled, metallic. Artificial lights buzzed overhead. Beings of all shapes and sizes moved through the corridors, going about their business. Wu made his way to the supply center. He needed food packs, water filters, and replacement parts for his oxygen system. The usual. The supply center was located near the center of the station. To get there, he had to pass through the residential sector. This was where station workers lived, where shops sold small comforts, where life happened between the stars. He walked with his head down, thinking about his shopping list. He almost missed her. But something made him look up. Later, he would not be able to explain it. A feeling, a pull, something that made him stop walking and turn his head. There was a window. Behind it, a large room filled with children, a play area. The children were laughing, running, throwing soft balls at each other. Normal children doing normal things. Except for one. A small figure sat apart from the others. She was by a different window on the opposite side of the room. Her knees were pulled up to her chest, her thin arms wrapped around them. Her strange ears, pointed and soft like a cat's, lay flat against her head. She was looking at the stars, not at the other children, not at the toys, just the stars. Wu stood there for a long moment. He did not know why. Children were everywhere. Sad children were everywhere too. The galaxy was full of pain. He could not fix it all. But there was something about her, something in the way she sat so still, so quiet, so completely alone even in a room full of others. He walked to the entrance of the play area. A sign above the door read, Orbital Station 12 Youth Center. Below that, smaller letters, Adoption SCRVICES available. An orphanage, of course, he should have known. A staff member approached him, a large creature with gray skin and 4 arms. His uniform marked him as a supervisor. "Welcome, sir," the creature said. His voice was professional, practiced. "Are you interested in our adoption services? We have many wonderful children looking for homes." Wu hesitated. He had not come here for this. He had come for supplies, for parts, for the simple things that kept his ship running. But his feet would not move. His eyes kept returning to the small figure by the window. "That child," he said, "the one sitting alone, what can you tell me about her?" The supervisor followed his gaze. His 4 arms shifted slightly, an uncomfortable movement. "Ah, that is Myra, she is a special case." "Special how?" The supervisor did not answer right away. He seemed to be choosing his words carefully. "Perhaps you would like to meet some of our other children first. We have a very healthy boy who is excellent with puzzles, very smart, or perhaps the Nebula twins. They are quite charming." "I asked about her," Wu said. There was no anger in his voice, just quiet insistence. The supervisor sighed. It was a tired sound, the sound of someone who had explained the same thing many times before. "Myra is her species was known for their loyalty and their gentle nature. Excellent companions, according to most accounts. The home world was destroyed in the war. Myra is one of the last of her kind. We do not know how many remain in the galaxy. Perhaps a few thousand, perhaps less." Wu looked at the small girl again. One of the last of her kind, alone in more ways than one. "That doesn't explain why she's sitting by herself," he said. The supervisor's arms folded behind his back. "Myra is ill, sir. Her body suffers from a degenerative condition. The doctors call it fatting syndrome. It is common among who have lost their families. Their species bonds very deeply. When those bonds are broken, their bodies give up." "Give up?" "They stop fighting, the will to live fades, the body follows." The supervisor shook his head. "We have tried everything, medicine, therapy, companionship programs, nothing works. She is dying, sir, slowly but certainly." Wu felt something cold settle in his chest. How long? "The doctors cannot say for certain. A year, maybe 2, maybe less. Her condition grows worse with each passing month." "And no one wants to adopt her?" The question came out sharper than he intended. The supervisor did not seem offended. He seemed sad. "Many have considered it, but caring for a dying child is difficult, emotionally, financially. Most species, when faced with the reality of her situation, decide they cannot take on such a burden. I do not blame them. Raising a child is hard enough. Raising a child you know you will lose." He did not finish the sentence. He did not need to. Wu stood in silence. He watched Myra through the glass. She had not moved. She had not looked away from the stars. She probably did not even know he was there. But he was there, and he could not make himself leave. "Can I meet her?" he asked. The supervisor looked surprised. "Sir, I want to be clear about her condition. She requires constant medical attention. Her dietary needs are complex. Her energy levels are very low. She cannot run or play like normal children. Can I meet her?" A pause, then slowly the supervisor nodded. "Of course, follow me." They entered the playroom. The other children barely noticed. They were too busy with their games. The supervisor led Wu past them, toward the far window where Myra sat. She heard them coming. Her ears lifted slightly, but she did not turn around. "Myra," the supervisor said gently, "you have a visitor." Now she turned. Her eyes were large, golden, and tired, so tired. She looked at Wu with an expression he recognized: wariness, doubt, the expectation of disappointment. She had seen many visitors before. She knew how these meetings ended. "Hello," Wu said. He crouched down so they were at the same level. His knees protested. He was not as young as he used to be, but he ignored them. Myra blinked, "Hello." Her voice was soft, careful, like she was trying not to take up too much space in the world. "My name is Wu. What's yours?" "Myra." "That's a pretty name. Does it mean something?" She tilted her head, thinking. "In my language, it means starlight." "That fits," Wu said. "You like looking at the stars." A small nod. "They are always there, even when everything else changes. The stars stay." Something twisted in Wu's heart. He knew that feeling. The need for something constant, something that would not leave. "I fly a ship," he said. "A cargo ship. I spend most of my time out there with the stars." Myra's ears lifted a little more. Interest, small, fragile, but real. "Is it beautiful?" she asked. "Yes, it's very beautiful. Sometimes I turn off all the lights on my ship and just look out the window. You can see forever." "I would like to see forever," Myra said quietly. Then her ears dropped again. "But I probably won't." Wu felt his throat tighten. The supervisor's words echoed in his mind. "She is dying, sir. Slowly but certainly." "Why do you say that?" he asked, though he already knew the answer. Myra looked at him directly. Her golden eyes were calm, too calm for a child. "Because I am sick. Everyone knows. That is why no one wants me. I am," she paused, searching for the right word, "a burden." "Who told you that?" "No one, everyone. It does not matter, it is true." Wu sat down on the floor next to her, his back pressed against the wall. He looked out the same window she had been watching. "You know what I think," he said. Myra waited. "I think people are scared, not of you, of losing you. They see you and they see pain coming, so they run away before it can catch them." He turned to look at her. "But running from pain doesn't make it go away. It just means you're alone when it finds you." Myra stared at him. Something flickered in her eyes. Confusion, hope, disbelief. "You read my file," she said. "It was not a question." "I heard about it. I didn't read it." "Then you know I will die." Wu nodded slowly. "I know, and I know something else too. I know what it's like to be alone with pain. My wife died 3 years ago. I've been running ever since, hiding in my ship, pretending the emptiness doesn't hurt." He took a deep breath. "But seeing you here all by yourself, waiting for someone who never comes, it made me realize something. Running doesn't work. Hiding doesn't work. The only thing that works is being there for each other, even when it's hard, even when it hurts, even when we know it won't last forever." Myra was very still. Her ears had slowly risen. Her eyes were wide. "What are you saying?" she whispered. Wu smiled. It was a small smile, sad around the edges but real. "I'm saying maybe we don't have to be alone anymore, either of us." The supervisor stepped forward. "Sir, I must remind you of the medical requirements, the financial costs, the emotional." "I understand," Wu said without looking away from Myra. "I understand all of it, and I want to see the adoption papers." Myra's breath caught. You want me." It was such a small question, such a huge question, a lifetime packed into 4 words. Wu reached out and gently took her tiny hand. Her fur was soft, softer than anything he had ever touched. Her fingers were thin and fragile. "I want you," he said, "for however long we have, a year, a month, a day, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you're not alone. What matters is that someone chose you." Tears rolled down Myra's face. She did not wipe them away. She seemed shocked that they existed at all. "No one has ever chosen me before," she said. "Then everyone else was wrong," Wu said, "and I'm going to prove it." He stood up, still holding her hand. He looked at the supervisor. "The papers now." The supervisor's 4 arms hung loose at his sides. He had seen many adoptions over the years. He had never seen one like this. "Sir, are you certain?" Wu looked down at Myra. She looked up at him. Her golden eyes were still full of tears, but something else was there now, something he had not seen in them before. Hoping. "I've never been more certain of anything," he said. "Now where do I sign?" The adoption office was a small room near the back of the orphanage. Gray walls, gray floor, a single desk covered in data pads and screens. It smelled like recycled air and old coffee. Wu sat in a chair that was too small for him. Myra sat next to him, her feet dangling above the floor. She had not let go of his hand since the playroom. Her grip was weak, but constant, like she was afraid he would disappear if she stopped holding on. Supervisor sat behind the desk. His 4 arms moved across various screens, pulling up files and documents. His expression was difficult to read, but his movements were tense, hesitant. "I must inform you," said, "that this process normally takes several weeks. Background checks, home inspections, financial reviews, the standard procedures." "I understand," Wu said. "However," continued, "given Myra's unique circumstances, the process can be expedited if you are willing to sign certain waivers." "What kind of waivers?" Pulled up a document on the central screen. "Medical liability waivers. These state that you understand the nature of Myra's condition and accept full responsibility for her care. The station cannot be held accountable for any deterioration in her health following the adoption." Wu nodded. "Fine." "There is also a financial waiver. Myra's medical needs are extensive. Specialized nutrition, regular checkups, medication that must be imported from 3 different sectors. The costs are significant. By signing this, you confirm that you have the resources to provide for these needs." "I have savings," Wu said, "and I can take more jobs, whatever it takes." Paused. His large eyes studied Wu carefully. "Forgive me for asking, sir, but why? You are a cargo pilot. You live alone on a ship. Your life is not suited for raising a child, especially one with such complex needs. Why would you do this?" It was a fair question. Wu had asked himself the same thing 100 times in the last hour. He looked at Myra. She was watching him with those golden eyes, waiting for his answer, waiting to see if he would change his mind like everyone else. "Because she needs someone," Wu said simply, "and because I need someone too. Maybe we can help each other." Was silent for a long moment, then slowly he nodded. "Very well, I will prepare the documents." The next 2 hours were filled with screens and signatures. Wu read every word carefully. He initialed every box. He answered every question. His hand cramped from writing, but he did not stop. Myra sat quietly beside him. Occasionally she would look up at his face as if checking to make sure he was still real. Each time he would smile at her. Each time she would relax a little more. When the final document appeared, turned the screen toward Wu. "This is the official adoption certificate. Once you sign this, Myra will legally become your daughter. You will have full parental rights and responsibilities. Do you understand?" Wu picked up the stylus. His hand hovered over the signature line. Daughter, the word echoed in his mind. He and had talked about having children. Someday, they always said. Someday when we have more money. Someday when the timing is right. Someday when we're ready. Someday never came, got sick, died, and Wu was left alone, wondering what might have been. Now, here was a little girl who needed a father. A dying girl who just wanted someone to want her. Wu signed his name. "It's done," said. There was something strange in his voice, almost like respect. "Congratulations, Mr. Wu. Myra is now your daughter." Myra stared at the screen. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. She was reading the words over and over. Legal guardian, Wu Human Earth Colony Registry. Child, Myra Station Birth Record. Status adopted. "Is it real?" she whispered. Wu put his arm around her thin shoulders. "It's real. You're my daughter now. No one can change that." "But what if?" she hesitated. "What if you change your mind? What if I get sicker? What if?" Hey, Wu turned her to face him. He cupped her small face in his hands, careful not to press too hard. Listen to me. I know I just met you. I know this is fast, but I made a promise when I signed those papers. I promised to take care of you. I don't break my promises. But I'm dying, Myra said. The words came out flat, matter of fact, like she had accepted it long ago. Maybe, Wu said. Or maybe the doctors are wrong, or maybe they're right, but we can still have good days together. Lots of them. I don't know how much time we have. No one does, but I know this. I'm going to spend every day making sure you feel loved. That's my job now, and I'm going to be really good at it. Myra's eyes filled with tears again. This time she wiped them away. This time they felt different, not sad tears, something else. I don't know how to have a family, she admitted. I've been alone for so long. That's okay, Wu said. I don't know how to be a dad, we'll figure it out together. They left the adoption office hand in hand. The station corridors seemed brighter somehow. The recycled air smelled less stale. The buzzing lights seemed less harsh. But not everyone was happy. They had barely made it halfway to the docking bay when a group of aliens blocked their path. 3 of them. Tall, broad, with hard eyes and official uniforms. Their species was called and they served as the station's security force. The leader stepped forward. He looked down at Myra with clear distaste. Human, he said to Wu, is it true you have adopted this child? It is, Wu said. He felt Myra shrink behind him, her hand tightened on his. This is unwise. The child is defective. She will drain your resources and die anyway. What is the point? Wu's jaw tightened. The point is that she's a child who deserves a home. Now please move. They did not move. Humans are strange. You waste emotion on things that cannot be saved. Your species is young. Perhaps that is why you do not understand logic. I understand logic just fine, Wu said. I also understand compassion. Maybe your species is too old to remember what that feels like. The eyes narrowed. For a moment, tension filled the corridor. Other beings stopped to watch. Some whispered to each other. Then slowly, they stepped aside. Take your burden, human. Do not expect sympathy when she dies in your arms. Wu walked past them without another word. Myra followed, pressed close to his side. When they were far enough away, she looked up at him. Why do they hate me? They don't hate you, Wu said. They're scared. Some people think caring about others is weakness. They think if they don't get attached, they can't get hurt. But that's not true. Being alone hurts worse than anything. They reached his ship. It was nothing fancy, a medium-sized cargo vessel with scratched paint and old engines. But it was clean inside, and it had a small living quarters with 2 beds. Wu had been sleeping in one bed for years. Now there would be someone in the other one. He helped Myra up the boarding ramp. She moved slowly, her legs tired from the walk. He did not rush her. Inside, she looked around with wide eyes. The cockpit with its many screens. The tiny kitchen with its single burner. The navigation charts covering one wall. The window that looked out at the stars. This is your home, she asked. This is our home now, Wu said. Myra walked to the window. She pressed her forehead against the glass just like she had done in the orphanage. But this time was different. This time, she was not looking at the stars with longing. She was looking at them with wonder. We will fly through them, she asked. Every day. We'll see nebulas and moons and planets you've never imagined. We'll watch suns rise and set from space. We'll visit markets on distant stations and taste foods from 100 worlds. He came to stand beside her. And when you get tired, you'll rest. When you feel sick, I'll take care of you. When you're scared, I'll hold your hand. That's what family does. Myra was quiet for a long moment. Then she asked the question that had been building inside her since the adoption office. What if I die before I get to see all those things? Wu knelt down. He looked into her golden eyes. Then we'll make sure every single day is worth remembering. Every sunset, every meal, every moment. We'll pack a whole lifetime into whatever time we have. And when you're gone, I'll carry those memories with me. You'll live in my heart forever. Promise. Promise. Myra threw her arms around him. She buried her face in his chest. She was so small, so fragile. He could feel her bones through her thin fur. But she was his daughter now, his responsibility, his family. He held her close and let her cry. Good tears this time, happy tears, the tears of someone who had finally found home. Later that night, after Myra had fallen asleep in her new bed, Wu sat in the cockpit. He stared at his communication screen for a long time. Then slowly, he pressed the call button. His face appeared almost immediately. She must have been waiting by the terminal. She always worried. Wu, I was about to call you. Where are you? Is everything okay? I'm fine, he said. I'm at Orbital Station 12 and I have news. What kind of news? Wu took a deep breath. I adopted a child. Silence, mouth opened, closed, opened again. You what? I adopted a child, a little girl. Her name is Myra. That's an alien species. She's 8 years old and she's sick, very sick. The doctors say she might not have long. His face went through about 7 different emotions in 3 seconds. Shock, confusion, concern, fear, and then finally something that looked like understanding. Tell me everything, she said. So Wu told her. He told her about the window and the little girl sitting alone. He told her about the golden eyes and the flat ears. He told her about the file and the illness and the waivers. He told her about the in the hallway and the promise he had made. When he finished, was crying. Oh, Wu, she said, you wonderful, stupid, beautiful man. Is that good or bad? She laughed through her tears. It's so you, finding someone who needs help and just helping them, no questions, no hesitation. Was it wrong? No, it was exactly right. She wiped her eyes. Bring her home to Earth. Bora has been wanting a cousin forever, and she paused. I think maybe we can help with the medical stuff, with everything. I can't ask you to. You're not asking, I'm offering. That's what family does, right? Wu felt his own eyes grow wet. He blinked hard. Right, he said, that's what family does. He ended the call and walked back to the living quarters. Myra was still sleeping, curled up in a ball under her blanket. Her ears twitched slightly. Her breathing was slow and steady. He sat down in the chair next to her bed. He watched her sleep. Tomorrow, they would leave this station behind. They would fly toward Earth, toward Bora, toward a real home with real people who would love her. He did not know how much time they had. No one did. But for the first time in 3 years, Wu was not running anymore. He was exactly where he needed to be. The journey to Earth took 11 days. 11 days of stars and space and silence. 11 days of Myra learning what it meant to have a father. She learned that Wu woke up early. He would sit in the cockpit with a cup of bitter liquid he called coffee. He would stare at the stars and think his quiet thoughts. Sometimes he hummed old songs from Earth, songs about love and loss and home. She learned that he was a terrible cook. He burned things. He mixed things that should not be mixed. Once he created something so bad that even the ship's recycling system rejected it. But he kept trying. Every meal was an adventure. She learned that he talked to the ship. He called it old friend and patted the walls when the engines made strange noises. He said the ship had a soul, just like everything else. Myra was not sure she believed him, but she liked the idea. Most importantly, she learned that he meant what he said. Every morning he asked how she was feeling. Every night he made sure she took her medicine. When she was too tired to walk, he carried her. When she had bad dreams, he sat with her until she fell back asleep. He kept his promise. He was good at being a father. On the 8th day, Myra had her first bad episode. It started with shaking. Her hands trembled, then her arms, then her whole body. She could not make it stop. She could not breathe properly. Her vision went dark at the edges. Wu was there in seconds. He wrapped her in blankets. He gave her the emergency medicine the doctors had prescribed. He held her close and whispered words she could not understand but somehow felt. "It's okay, I'm here, you're safe, I've got you, breathe with me, in and out, in and out." The episode lasted 20 minutes. It felt like 20 years. When it was over, Myra was exhausted. She lay limp in Wu's arms, too weak to move. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "Don't ever apologize for being sick," Wu said firmly. "You didn't choose this, it's not your fault. But it's scary for you." Wu was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Yes, it's scary, but being scared doesn't mean I'm going to leave. It means I care. There's a difference." Myra thought about that for a long time, being scared because you care. It was a new idea. Everyone she had known before was scared and ran away. Wu was scared and stayed. Maybe that was what love was. On the 11th day, Earth appeared in the. Myra had never seen anything like it. Blue and green and white swirling together like paint on a canvas. Clouds drifted across the surface. Lights sparkled on the night-side cities, Wu explained. Millions and millions of humans living their lives. "It's beautiful," Myra breathed. "It's home," Wu said, "our home now." They landed at a port on the edge of a city called. The air outside was different from any air Myra had ever breathed. It smelled like salt and green things and life. Real life, not the recycled kind. Wu helped her down the ramp. Her legs were shaky, but she wanted to walk. She wanted to feel earth beneath her feet. The ground was solid, warm. It hummed with a kind of energy she had never felt before. She knelt down and touched it with her palm. "What are you doing?" Wu asked. "Saying hello," Myra said. He smiled. Did the earth say hello back? "I think so, it feels welcoming." A voice called out from across the port. "Wu, over here." Myra looked up. A woman was running toward them, waving wildly. Behind her, a small girl tried to keep up, her short legs pumping. This was Wu's sister. Myra had heard so much about her during the journey. Smart and kind and a little bit bossy. The person who never gave up on Wu, even when he tried to disappear into the stars. Reached them and threw her arms around her brother. She was crying and laughing at the same time. "You're here, you're actually here." "I told you I was coming," Wu said. "Yes, but you've told me that before, many times." She pulled back and punched his shoulder. "Don't ever make me wait 11 days again. I nearly went crazy." Then she turned to Myra. Myra felt herself shrink. This was the moment, the test. Would look at her the way everyone else did. Would she see a burden, a problem, a mistake? Knelt down. Her eyes were red from crying, but her smile was warm, genuine. "Hello, Myra," she said. "I'm your aunt. I've been waiting to meet you." "Hello," Myra said quietly. Reached out and gently touched Myra's ear. "Your ears are so soft, like velvet. Can I give you a hug, only if you want one?" Myra nodded slowly. Hugged her, not too tight, she was careful, aware of how fragile Myra was. But it was a real hug, full of warmth and welcome. "We're going to take such good care of you," whispered. "You'll see." The small girl had finally caught up. She stood a few feet away, staring at Myra with huge, curious eyes. "Mom," she said, "is that my cousin, the one from space?" Laughed. "Yes, Bora, this is Myra. Be gentle with her, okay? She's been through a lot." Bora stepped forward. She was maybe 5 years old, with round cheeks and messy hair. She looked at Myra like she was the most interesting thing in the universe. "You have a tail," Bora said. Myra looked at her tail, which was wrapped around her leg nervously. "Yes." "Can it do tricks?" "Tricks? Like wag or spin, or grab things?" Myra thought about it. She unwrapped her tail and made it wave slightly. Bora gasped with delight. "That's so cool, can you teach me? I want a tail too." Bora said patiently, You can't grow a tail. Why not? That's not fair. I want one. Myra felt something strange, a warmth in her chest, a lightness she had not felt in a very long time. She laughed. It was a small laugh, rusty from disuse, but it was real. Bora grinned. You laughed, Mom. She laughed. I made her laugh. Wu put his hand on Myra's shoulder. I think you're going to like it here, he said. Myra looked around, with her warm smile, at Bora bouncing with excitement, at the blue sky stretching overhead, at the solid earth beneath her feet. I think so too, she said. The first week was overwhelming. So many new things, new smells, new sounds, new experiences. His house was small but full of life. There were plants on every windowsill, books piled in every corner, photos covering the walls, pictures of and Bora and Wu at different ages, pictures of people Myra did not know, pictures of memories she was not part of. Not yet. On her second day, Myra found a blank space on the wall, a hook with nothing hanging on it. What goes there? She asked. Looked at the space and smiled. Nothing yet, I was saving it. For what? For a picture of you, once we take one. Myra touched the empty hook with her fingertip, a space waiting for her, a place she belonged. She started to cry, held her and did not ask why. Some tears do not need explaining. By the third week, Myra had learned many things about Earth. She learned that rain was water falling from the sky. The first time it happened, she ran outside and stood in it until she was soaked. Wu had to carry her back inside, but he was laughing. She learned that grass was green plants that covered the ground. She liked to sit in the garden and feel it tickle her tail. She learned that the ocean was like a lake, but bigger than she could imagine. Took her to see it one morning. Myra stood on the sand and watched the waves roll in and out, in and out. It's like breathing, she said. What do you mean? Asked. The ocean, it breathes in and out like me. Was quiet for a moment. Then she said, You're very wise for someone so young. I don't feel wise, I just feel connected, like I'm part of something. She learned that food on Earth was strange and wonderful. Made something called soup, which was warm and filled with vegetables. She made something called rice, which was small and white and stuck together. She made something called pancakes. Pancakes. Myra remembered what it said. Strawberries taste like happy mornings. The strawberries were red and soft and sweet. Myra ate 6 of them, had to stop her from eating more. You'll get a stomach ache, she warned. Myra did not care, was right. They tasted like happy mornings. They tasted like hope. By the second month, something strange began to happen. Myra's episodes became less frequent. Her energy levels improved. She could walk farther, stay awake longer, play with Bora in the garden without collapsing afterward. The doctors were confused. Her vitals are stabilizing, one of them said during a checkup. The degradation in her cells has slowed significantly. I've never seen anything like this. What does that mean? Wu asked. I don't know, the doctor admitted. By all accounts, she should be getting worse. Her condition has no cure, but somehow, she's getting better. That night, Myra overheard Wu and talking in the kitchen. The doctor said it might just be temporary, Wu said. A remission. It could come back at any time. Or maybe not, replied. Maybe whatever is happening is permanent. We can't know that. No, we can't, but does it matter? His voice was firm. Whether she has 10 years or 10 months, she's ours now. We love her, that's what matters. Myra pressed her back against the wall. Her heart was beating fast. They loved her, they actually loved her. Not just Wu, who had signed the papers, and Bora too, the whole family. She had a family. The thought was so big, so overwhelming, that she did not know what to do with it. So she did the only thing that made sense. She walked into the kitchen and hugged them both. Thank you, she said. Thank you for wanting me. Kissed the top of her head. Wu wrapped his arms around them both. "Thank you for letting us," he said. Outside, the stars were shining. The same stars Myra had watched through orphanage windows for years, but now they looked different. Now they looked like hope. That night Myra dreamed of her mother, a face she barely remembered, a voice she could no longer hear. In the dream, her mother was smiling. "You found them," her mother said. "I did," Myra replied. "Are you happy?" Myra thought about Wu's morning coffee, about soup, about Bora's endless questions, about the rain and the grass and the ocean that breathed. "Yes," she said, "I'm happy." Her mother's smile grew brighter. "Then I can rest." When Myra woke up, she was crying, but they were not sad tears. They were goodbye tears and hello tears. They were the tears of someone who had finally found home. 5 years passed. Myra stood on the beach, her bare feet sinking into the sand. The wind blew through her fur, which had grown thick and silver again. Her tail swayed behind her, strong and graceful. Her ears stood tall and alert. She was 13 years old. She was not supposed to be alive. "Myra, come on, the water's perfect," Bora's voice rang out across the shore. Myra smiled and ran toward her cousin. Her legs were strong now. They did not shake. They did not fail her. She splashed into the ocean and let out a happy scream as the cold water hit her skin. Bora laughed and splashed her back. They chased each other through the waves until they were both exhausted and breathless. Later, they lay on towels in the sun. Bora was 10 now, no longer a small bouncing child but a growing girl with opinions and dreams. "Myra," Bora said. "Yes." "Remember when you first came here? You were so skinny, and your fur was all patchy." Myra touched her arm. "The fur there was soft and full. I remember." "The doctor said you were dying." "They did." Bora rolled onto her side to look at her cousin. "But you didn't. How come?" It was a question many people had asked over the years. Scientists, doctors, researchers from across the galaxy. They came with their instruments and their theories and their endless questions. They poked and prodded and studied. And none of them understood. But Myra did. She understood because she had felt it happening inside her. The slow mending, the gradual healing, the way her broken pieces came back together one by one. "Because of you," she said simply. "And Mom and Uncle Wu, because of family." Bora wrinkled her nose. "That doesn't make scientific sense." "I know, but it's still true." The truth was complicated and also very simple. We're a bonding species. Their bodies were not designed to exist alone. They needed connection the way other species needed food or water. Without it, they faded. They shut down. They died. Myra had been alone for so long that her body had started to give up. The doctors called it fatting syndrome, but it was really just loneliness. Deep, crushing, cellular loneliness. And then Wu had found her. He had signed the papers. He had taken her home. And her body had remembered what it felt like to be loved. The healing did not happen overnight. It took months, years. There were setbacks and scary moments and times when everyone thought they would lose her, but slowly, steadily, she got better. The doctors called it a miracle. The scientists called it impossible. The researchers called it unprecedented. Myra called it family. Word of her recovery spread through the galaxy. A dying child saved by human adoption. It became a story people told. Some believed it, some did not. But then other cases started to appear. An elder on a remote colony, given up for dead, began recovering after a human nurse started visiting him daily. A pair of twins on a mining station improved dramatically after being fostered by a human family. A teenager who had stopped speaking started singing again after befriending a human girl at school. The pattern was clear, unmistakable. Humans were fixing the Galactic Science Council sent a team to Earth. They set up a research station. They interviewed Myra dozens of times. They studied her cells, her brain waves, her emotional responses. After 2 years of research, they published their findings. The report was long and complex, full of technical terms and scientific language, but the conclusion was simple. Human emotional bonding was unique in the galaxy. No other species formed attachments with the same intensity, the same depth, the same commitment. Humans did not just care for those they loved, they rewired themselves around them. Their neurochemistry changed. Their priorities shifted. They became different people. And when that kind of love was directed at something remarkable happened. The bond receptors designed to connect with their own kind responded to human emotion. They absorbed it, they fed on it, and they used it to heal. In simple terms, human love was so powerful that it cured a species designed to die without connection. The galaxy did not know what to do with this information. Some species were skeptical. They called it human propaganda, an exaggeration, a coincidence. Some species were afraid. They worried that humans would use this power to manipulate others, to control, to dominate. But most species were simply amazed. Humanity, the young and reckless newcomers to the galactic community, had something no other species possessed. Not technology, not wealth, not military strength. They had love, the most powerful force in the universe. Myra read the report sitting in her room, surrounded by photos and books and memories of 5 years of happiness. When she finished, she went to find Wu. He was in the garden, as usual. He had retired from cargo piloting 3 years ago. Now he spent his days growing vegetables and flowers and teaching Bora how to tell the difference between weeds and plants. He looked up when Myra approached. His hair had more gray in it now. His face had more lines, but his eyes were the same, kind, warm, full of love. "You read it," he said. "It was not a question." Myra nodded. She sat down next to him on the bench. "Do you understand now," she asked, "what you did, what it meant?" Wu was quiet for a moment. He picked a dead leaf off a tomato plant and crumbled it between his fingers. "I didn't do anything special," he said finally. "I just saw a kid who needed help, so I helped." "You saved my life." "No, I gave you a chance. You saved yourself." Myra shook her head. "That's not true. I was giving up. I was ready to die. And then you came and you just decided I was worth something. You didn't know me. You didn't have to care, but you did." Wu turned to look at her. His eyes were wet. "Do you know why I really stopped at that window?" he asked. "Why I couldn't walk away?" Myra shook her head. "Because I saw myself," he said. "After died, I was just like you, sitting by windows, watching the world go by, waiting for something I didn't think would ever come. I was dying too, Myra, just more slowly. And when I saw you, I thought, maybe we can save each other." He took her hand. "And we did. You saved me as much as I saved you, maybe more." They sat together in silence. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and pink. Birds sang in the trees. Somewhere in the house, Bora was laughing at something had said. "What happens now?" Myra asked. "The whole galaxy knows about humans, about what you can do." Wu smiled. "Then maybe the whole galaxy will learn. Maybe other species will try. Maybe they'll discover they can love too in their own way. Maybe the universe will become a little less lonely." "Do you really think that's possible?" "I think anything is possible. 5 years ago, a dying cat girl sat in an orphanage convinced nobody wanted her. Now look at her, strong, healthy, loved. If that can happen, anything can." Myra leaned her head on his shoulder. "Thank you for everything. Thank you for letting me be your dad." They watched the sunset together, father and daughter, human and two lonely souls who had found each other in the vastness of space. A year later, Myra received a message. It came through the interstellar communication network, forwarded through a dozen relay stations. The sender's name made her heart stop. She opened the message with trembling hands. "Myra, I told you I would come back for you. I'm sorry it took so long, I was scared. I thought you might be gone. I thought I had failed you. But then I heard the news, about the research, about the girl saved by human love. I knew it was you. I'm so happy you're alive. I'm so happy you found your family. I'm so happy that someone finally chose you. I'm a pilot now, I have my own ship, and I'm coming to Earth. I need to see you. I need to tell you that I never forgot you. That every time I ate pancakes with strawberries I thought of you. That you were my first friend and that means something. I'll be there in 3 weeks. Wait for me, please. Myra read the message 3 times. Then she ran downstairs to tell her family. 3 weeks later, a small ship landed at the port. A young man stepped out. He was taller now, broader. His eyes were still sad around the edges, but there was hope in them too. Myra was waiting. She had been waiting for hours. When saw her, he stopped. His mouth opened. No words came out. She was not the same girl he had left behind. She was healthy, strong, alive. Myra, he whispered. She smiled, a real smile, full of joy. Hello. He crossed the distance between them in 3 steps. He hugged her so tight that she could barely breathe. She hugged him back just as hard. You're okay, he said, crying. You're actually okay. I'm okay, she confirmed. I have a family now, I'm happy. He pulled back to look at her. I thought about you every day, every single day. I promised I would come back and then I got scared, I thought. I know, she said gently. It's okay. You're here now, that's what matters. That night the whole family had dinner together. Wu, Bora, Myra, and 6 people around a table too small to fit them all comfortably. It was perfect. Made pancakes for dessert, with strawberries. When Myra took her first bite, she caught eye across the table. You were right, she said. About what? They taste like happy mornings. Laughed. It was the first time she had heard him laugh in 8 years. It was a good sound. After dinner, Myra went to the garden. The stars were out, bright and endless. The same stars she had watched through orphanage windows. The same stars she had flown through with Wu. The same stars that connected everything in the universe. Joined her. They stood side by side looking up. What are you thinking about? He asked. Myra considered the question. She thought about the little girl who had been told she was a burden. The little girl who had stopped hopping. The little girl who had pressed her face against cold windows and dreamed of a family that would never come. That little girl was gone now. In her place stood someone new, someone strong, someone loved. I'm thinking about how different everything looks, she said. Different how? The stars used to seem so far away, so cold, like they were mocking me, showing me all the places I would never go, all the things I would never see. She smiled. Now they look like friends, like possibilities, like the universe is saying, look what you survived, look how far you've come, look at all the places you can still go. Nodded slowly. That's a good way to see it. It took me a long time to learn, but I had good teachers. Inside the house, Bora was laughing again, was scolding Wu for trying to eat leftovers, the sounds of family, the sounds of home. Myra closed her eyes and listened. She had spent the first 8 years of her life alone, unwanted, dying. She had spent the next 5 years learning what it meant to be loved, to belong, to live. And she planned to spend the rest of her life proving what everyone had finally discovered. That humanity's greatest gift was not their technology or their ambition or their courage. It was their hearts. Big enough to embrace a dying alien girl nobody wanted. Strong enough to bring her back from the edge. Powerful enough to heal an entire species. The galaxy would never look at humans the same way again. And Myra would never stop being grateful for the man who had stopped at a window and decided that a little cat girl was worth saving. Not in spite of her illness. Not in spite of her weakness. but simply because she was there. And she needed someone to say, "Let's go home." The stars shone overhead, bright and eternal. And Myra smiled. She was finally truly home.